So we bought a big, and we still do it, a big bag of the dum suckers from like Sam's Club. And we would practice at home, and I would call them. And when they came, I'd give them a sucker. So it became something that was ingrained in them. And for the most
really
part,
smart.
It works well.
But what if you got to give them like 10 damn dum-dums in one?
I guess they're going to have dum-dums.
They're going to be hyper as shit.
Just as long as they're not dum-dum.
Yeah. That's how they train dogs. And like the C9.
Treat, high rewards and shit.
Yes. Praise. Oh my gosh, look, you came when mommy called you. That is such a good job. You are so smart. I always knew it. Look at you. You're so clever. I just do the most. Here's a dum-dum. How about a Hershey's Kiss?
Oh my gosh.
Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Babies Down, Bottles Up. Hey, ladies.
Hi.
Hey.
How are y'all? What's going on?
Just here. It's been a long day.
It's been one of those days.
We are surviving. Like
Surviving, not thriving.
No.
Right. Good thing we
Not
aren't
today.
driving, because some of us have been drinking since 3 o'clock. Not gonna name
Some
anyone.
of us? No.
Some of us? You mean just you?
One of us.
One of us, yeah.
What's crazy is it's also Mother's Day Eve, and we're
Yeah.
exhausted.
Happy
In the time
Mother's
machine.
Day.
Yeah, happy
Happy
Mother's Day.
And we're
Day.
exhausted from momming. Shit.
Yes.
I don't want to do shit tomorrow, so
At all.
kids, if y'all are
At
listening, which
all.
you shouldn't be listening, don't ask me to do anything.
I saw a TikTok, and the lady was saying that she did not want to deal with anyone who's come out or come in her at all. on Mother's
that's
Day.
I like it.
I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna tell Axel that in the morning.
Right? I'm going to say that in the morning,
She said,
too.
I'm going to save it for the morning.
So I would love to know, listeners, what all of you did for Mother's Day, because when this comes out, it'll be past Mother's Day. So share that with us. Email us at babiesdownbottlesup@gmail.com. And also, we've been making TikToks, you guys.
Wait.
We're
Taryn has been making TikToks.
I've been making TikToks, but we've also been posting clips of our episodes before they come out. So if you're not following us on our socials, you can find it in the show notes and also our TikTok. Okay, here we go. babies_down_bottles_up. Follow us. And we're going to be sharing more TikToks on there. And
Yes.
I really enjoy doing it. And then you can see the upcoming for the next episode. So we'd love it if you checked us out over there. And also, again, look at the show notes, see what all we've got going on. But ladies, what are y'all drinking?
I don't know.
Isha, you've been drinking since 3. So
Yeah, tell us all the stuff you've been drinking.
Yes.
No.
Jesus Christ. Sounds like I need to go to AA. Okay, so I went.
Well, the trend is that Keisha never knows what she's drinking,
That is
what she's
true.
eating. So I'm excited to hear if
Okay.
you know what you've been
I
consuming.
do know from earlier. So earlier, I had 2 glasses of sweet red. My mother-in-law
Okay.
gave it to me as soon as I walked in the door.
Nice.
And then I had a spiked strawberry lemonade.
Yum.
And so right now I'm drinking a Smirnoff. And I want to say it's a lemonade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe a Smirnoff strawberry lemonade. That's what it tastes like. So we're
That
just gonna go
sounds
with that.
good.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how tipsy are you?
I kind of came down a little bit. So I'm like maybe at a 6. When I was
Okay.
when I was at my mother-in-law's house, I was walking in the door and like I just stood there because I had a wine glass in one hand that was empty, and then I had an empty can in the other hand. And so
Can you imagine taking a picture of Keisha at that moment? Definitely send her ass to AA.
And so Axel's brother is like, "You okay, Keisha?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good."
empty.
I'm great.
Yeah, can somebody give me a refill,
Right.
please? Yeah.
But
That's
yeah, I'm
so-
about a 6. So after this, I'll probably crash.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Nice.
I did come home with 4 bottles of mini wines as a Mother's Day gift. So
Best
never
Mother's Day
know.
gift.
Yeah, don't drink them all in one day. No, I'm just
Or do, you know?
Right.
Yeah,
I was gonna
I
say,
mean-
sounds like you need to continue.
Because I don't plan on doing anything tomorrow, so might as well.
Exactly. Might as well. I'm not drinking anything that special. I'm finishing up my aguas frescas from last weekend. So yeah, sorry. I'll have something new next time.
Hey, it has to be finished. So
That's
Somebody gotta
right.
drink
So
it.
I worked out. I've been drinking a lot more since we started like recording the podcast, but I was randomly drinking on like Wednesday afternoon, and it was the first time I ever worked out buzzed before. And y'all,
Oh,
it
no.
was so gross. Like I was doing
Ugh.
mountain climbers, and I could
It's
hear.
sloshy.
Yes,
Yes.
I could hear.
oh no.
You can hear it
I
sloshing.
could hear the liquid sloshing in my stomach. It
I would
was
have took a day off.
nasty.
No. Yeah. I
Never
couldn't.
again. I mean, it was fun and I did it. I did feel a little nauseous after, but I got through it. But you could
That's what
definitely hear
matters.
all the liquid in your stomach.
Well, people do those, the running where they drink beer all the time.
Do. How do they do that? They must not drink that much.
They can't. Or I think they drink afterward, maybe. No, they stop and they drink during.
They do. A lot of the biking people do that shit too.
Yeah.
They do like beer bike rides.
I love that for them.
That shit is awesome, but also like how?
Mm-mm.
No, it sounds fun, but it sounds like you're gonna puke at some point
Uh-huh.
for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and super dehydrated, like super quick. I don't
Yeah.
know. Ugh.
Liquid IV and then add your Pink Whitney to it. You heard it here first.
So I'm
Oh.
drinking michelada. It's a red
Ay.
beer, basically.
It's like a Bloody Mary, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't have like whatever they put in a Bloody Mary. Olives? I don't even know. So I'm drinking it with a Modelo beer, and then the tomato juice, and then like we add lemon, tahini, and Worcestershire sauce.
What?
Worcestershire sister sauce.
Yeah, that.
Worcestershire. Can anybody
Worcestershire.
spell
Hard
it?
to say. Worcestershire sauce. Yeah, I'm probably
We
not
just
even
call
saying
it
it right.
Wash Your Sister.
Worcestershire.
Do that too.
That sounds so good.
It's the only way I drink beer. Yeah. That's one of my
Really?
favorite.
I'm not
Yeah,
a fan of tomato juice, so
I love it.
Aw,
I like beer though.
I love a Bloody Mary.
Yeah. And typically they're spicy, but I don't drink spicy or eat spicy, so I don't put a lot of.
Wow.
Wait, are you Mexican?
Hold on.
Yes, I know. I'm probably the only Mexican that doesn't like
I
spicy.
need you to make it make sense.
Please
I know.
explain.
Yeah.
Add references.
Right.
Mhm. Well, I have a funny story with what I'm drinking. Today we're out and about, which that's a story for a different podcast. But we went to the liquor store and got some Prosecco for cranberry mimosas for Mother's Day. That's actually what I'm drinking now.
Ooh.
But it's a big bottle of champagne because, I know my husband was going to want some too. And I didn't want him drinking all of my mimosa mix-ins. So we got a big bottle of Prosecco and it was in the trunk. And then it just started rolling all around in the trunk of the car. So when I brought it inside, I was like, note to self, it's been rolling all around in the trunk. I'm not going to open it for a while. I waited 3 hours. I go to open it and it explodes everywhere.
course.
No.
All over the counter, all over the floor, all over me. And I feel like we wasted like a quarter of the bottle. It was very,
Wow.
very annoying. So if anyone has any suggestions on being able, usually I don't have this problem, but I guess it's because it rolled around. But if anybody knows how to make that not happen, I would really appreciate
do.
knowing. Yes,
Just
tell
put
me,
your
please.
damn cup on top of it and let it explode in there.
I should have just put my mouth over the top of the
Yeah.
Let it explode
Or
in your
that,
mouth.
yes.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Yes.
You would have had a quarter left. You would have
Always
had
the least messiest option.
Oh
So-
man, it was all over my counters and all over the floor.
Wow. And you said the cleaners came today too, right?
They did, and it
Oh,
was
that
just right after they
sucks.
left.
Oh, that sucks.
Yes,
sucks.
I was so annoyed. And I had just taken a bath because I was like, we're going to record. Let me get in the right headspace. And then I got sticky champagne all over. My husband didn't mind.
Of course not.
Mm-mm. So that's what I'm drinking.
Hey, well, you deserve that drink.
Mother's Day Eve and all of
Right.
that. So we can all be hungover tomorrow because we're not expected to do any domestic labor, not taking care of no kids.
I really wish you were right.
She said, if only, but that's not the
I
case here.
know, it's not. We never get a day off.
We really don't.
We need more than one. Like,
I know.
Mother's Day is not enough. We need
We need like a
Mother's
quarterly
Day
week.
Mother's Day.
Like, we need a Mother's Week.
I'm celebrating all weekend because, Friday was Mexican Mother's Day.
Yeah.
True.
Everybody's like, well, happy Mother's Day. I'm like, so do we celebrate Friday or Sunday or like what? I'm like, all weekend.
All of it.
Yeah.
Yep. All of it.
Everything.
I was mad because I really wanted to do like a girls' brunch, but it turns out all my friends actually want to spend Mother's Day with their kids. Like, who does that?
What?
Oh, no,
Yeah.
I don't.
know.
I do not. I don't want to see them really at all.
Fuck them kids.
I want to be treated like a toddler. I want to lay in bed. I want food to just appear. I want drinks to just appear. I don't want to have to take care of anybody. I want no one to ask me any questions or expect me to have any responsibility at all whatsoever. And if I don't get what I want, I'm going to pitch a fit.
That's the truth.
I just have a feeling that
like
someone's
that.
going to interrupt me, and I'm going to get so mad tomorrow because I'm like, this is my day. Like, I'm going to have a fit.
Yeah.
Have a fit.
I just feel it in my bones.
I know. That would
So-
be the ultimate gift to like get a room somewhere, like, a hotel room, get room service,
Yeah,
like,
like,
have wine, have whatever.
Lay
do
in
whatever
bed.
the heck. Get a facial, like
Mhm.
massage. Oh
That's
my
so
God.
good. Ugh.
Yeah.
You hear that, gentlemen?
Right?
Take notes.
Take
That's what we
notes.
really want.
Yeah.
For Mother's Day, we don't want to be mothers.
Exactly.
Right? And now that sounds really bad,
It
but
does.
But it's the truth,
just how it
though.
is.
Like,
Sorry.
you just need a break.
yeah.
We
Yeah.
mother very hard 364 days out of the year. I think it's okay for one day for us to think about ourselves first. Well, today we are going to be talking about taking our feral children out and about, taking them to museums, the zoo, parks, amusement parks, all over the place. So we are excited to talk about this. This has been a very, very highly requested episode. Most of the questions that we do receive are pertaining to taking your kids out and about and how we keep track of them and so on and so forth. So I'm really excited to talk about this. And let's actually start with taking our kids to places indoors.
I think the hardest part with like taking your kids indoors, I think, well, the benefit obviously is like they're indoors. So there's really not a lot of places they can run to that they can leave, like they're enclosed. But also when it's like a really loud place, like it's so disorienting. And how do you keep up with them in situations like that?
I feel like indoor, outdoor, they're all the same. Except like, so indoor, yeah, there's not many places that they can run, but everybody's kid looks like your kid. And then
They sound the same.
They do sound the
Oh my
same.
God.
That is
Like,
the
wait, who are
truth.
you? Yeah.
Yeah,
And
seriously.
it's just really loud. Like, we went to the museum here. I don't even know when. We went twice. We went once with Taryn, and I felt like poor Corey. Oh my God. I felt like he was like, oh my
Yes.
God, all these blind people and these little kids. Oh my God. He was like, I don't know. But the second time it was just me and Axel and the two kids. And we had someone, I guess, that was a guide, sort of trying to help us. But there were so many kids, like every freaking where. And our kids were younger, and we wanted them to be able to explore and do things. But it was just hard keeping up with them because they want to run around like kids.
Yeah, they do.
But
So what do y'all do to keep track of them? I can tell y'all what we do too.
Yeah. So when they're younger, obviously like we use a leash for sure.
Yes.
I feel like all of us are
Mhm.
big fans of the leash. We don't give a
Yes.
fuck.
Yes.
And if y'all have a problem with it, tell your mom because we're not trying
Judge
to
your
hear it.
mama.
Yes, we should make a t-shirt. Hashtag judge your
Judge your
mama.
mama.
Yes.
Merch alert.
Yes, but the leash for sure. Any kind of leash, really. The backpack, the
The
wrist
backpack leash is my
Mhm.
favorite. Yeah.
I've used both.
Yep.
Some people use the bells, but I feel like when you're in a crowded place, you
Can hear
can
those
easily
things.
not
You
hear
really, yeah.
those. I feel like once your kids get older, there's different ways you can keep up with them. Like I know with my kid, we use the Marco Polo situation, and that's for us. I like that because people don't know her name, so I'm never yelling out like her name. I'm just like Marco, and she knows like Polo, and it becomes like a game for them. But it also lets you know where they are.
I love that because I just
Yeah.
call my
too.
kids names and
Me
I never even
too.
thought about that before. And we had
Yeah.
to train our kids on names, like responding to their name.
Yeah.
So we bought a big, and we still do it, a big bag of the dum suckers from like Sam's Club. And we would practice at home and I would call them. And when they came, I'd give them a sucker. So it became something that was ingrained in them. And for the
That's
most
really
part,
smart.
it works well.
But what if you got to give them like 10 damn dum-dums in one? That's a,
I guess
candy.
they're gonna have dum dums. You
they're
know?
going to be hyper as shit.
Just as long as they're not dumb.
Yeah.
No.
That's how they train dogs and like the C9.
Treat, high rewards and shit. Yeah.
Yes. Praise. Oh my gosh, look, you came when mommy called you. That is such a good job. You are so smart. I always knew it. Look at you. You're so clever. I just do the most. Here's a dum dum. How about a Hershey's kiss?
Oh my gosh.
Look, you gotta do whatever the fuck works. And sometimes you just gotta know your kids and like figure out what works for them. What's
Yeah.
you can use as prices or whatever.
My kids are like, so I took them one time to my grandpa's funeral. Like Zanaya was a baby. She was like maybe 9 months. And Zane was like, maybe she was 6 months. I don't fucking know. And Zane was like almost 2. And so like my cousin was like, man, you don't ever have to worry about anyone kidnapping your kids because they don't talk to anybody. And I was like, well, you make it sound like that's a bad thing. Like, I want them to be clingy to me in public. And my kids are really good about checking in with me. So like they'll be gone for a minute, but they'll come up and give me a hug or something. Like today, Zanaya was inside at her grandmother's house watching a movie. And she just came outside and, I'm like, well, what does she need? And she just came over to give me a hug just to check in, say, hi, Mom. And then she went about her day. So they're really good at that. And I think we instilled that in them from the very beginning because we both can't see. So it's really important that we know where they are.
Yeah, I'm really trying to do that with my 3-year-old. We're having a hard time because he will like do things and then I'm like, if he thinks it's something he's not supposed to be doing, he won't respond. And I'm like, you have to respond. Like you have to
Those
say
sneaky ass kids.
Yeah.
Ooh, Zane's like that.
And I'm like, where are you? And like I will literally have to walk over and like, say, hey, you need to answer me so I know where you are and what you're doing. So we're really like working through all of that right now. And so I'm here for all the tips and tricks for sure. Cause
Yes.
He's at that age where they're testing the boundaries. Like Delaney, when she was just about that age, I used to have the shoes with the squeakers in them. Now that was not for big places. That was just for like around the house or whatever. Well, she just learned to walk on her tippy toes where I couldn't hear her because the squeaker was in the heel and she would just walk around on her tippy toes. But also I sent her to daycare with her little squeaky shoes. They took the squeakers out.
So we don't want to hear that shit.
No, they sent
too
them
annoying.
home in a Ziploc bag. They were like, we done took these out.
They
We
did
are
not send them
doing that."
home in a Ziploc.
They sent them home in a Ziploc bag in her diaper bag.
Like,
That's
what the
fucked up.
hell?
They
I'm
did.
like, where's my money at in the Ziploc? Like,
And I was in my like single mom era. I did not have enough money for a pair of squeaker shoes and not squeaker shoes. So those were the shoes that she had. They sent them home.
that's
But
crazy.
with my kids, they're a little bit older, which I think is extremely helpful. But what we've done is we talk a lot. So even if we're in a museum, he'll say, you know, oh, what are you looking at? What does that do? And we'll have conversations, and that helps me keep track of where they are. And that's really helpful. And I feel like it helps me be able to enjoy the museum as well, because they're telling me about what they're doing and what they're seeing.
Yeah.
And they think they're being helpful, which kids love to be helpful, but then I can always keep track of where they are. And it's very big that like you don't leave a certain area unless you have mommy or daddy with you. That's been a big thing. And look, I use some scare tactics. I tell them like there are people out here that want to kidnap you and take you with them, and then you will never ever see me again. I'm sorry, but I use it, and it works because they are like, I'm not talking to strangers. We have an autistic child, so I had to really talk to her a lot about what a friend is and what a friend is not. Someone just being nice to you that you just met is not your friend, and you cannot trust them. Because she thought for the longest time, oh, if it's just somebody that I met and we like the same things, we are friends. And that's just not the truth. We talk a lot about safe adults and not safe adults, and there's just a lot of talking.
I think what's really important too, and I learned this when I was pregnant, actually, the AFB has really good resources for blind parents. And I read an article where they were talking about how important it is to be consistent, especially about like rules when you are out with your kids. So like be consistent with them from the time that they're little, that they're going to hold your hand. Consistent. And even if they're going out with grandma or whoever else that might be sighted, make sure that they also follow those same rules so the kid is used to those and isn't like, oh, well, grandma doesn't make me hold her hand.
That's
like,
such a good point.
I don't give a fuck what grandma does. Like, we're going to do this here. But if everybody is on board, you don't have to have that fight with your kid, you know? And so, like, they just know that wherever you go, you got to hold your hand. Like, my youngest, she's the runner for sure. But we've been so consistent with her about holding hands from the very beginning that she knows now, like, hey, come hold my hand. And she comes. Or like sometimes I don't even have to ask her. She just gets out the car and she's already looking for my hand to hold, because that's just what we've always done, even when she doesn't go out with me, which honestly never happens. But like she holds everybody's hand. And so we've just been really consistent with that. And it's really worked for us. So that's important.
I think, that's why it's so easy for us with our kids. Our kids are really close in age. They're 15 months apart. They do the same thing. They're like twins, I swear. But we've always been consistent with them. So no matter who they're with, because we're both blind, and just because you're with dad doesn't mean you do something different because you're with mom. We've been really consistent about, okay, when we get out of the car, you wait by the side of the car, you hold my hand. When we go out and we're walking at our like basketball game or at the cheer thing for Zanaya, if I call your name, you better answer me. Like they know that if they don't, I mean, it's gonna be some kind of
and you have to be
consequence.
firm. Yeah, you have to be firm. You have to be like show them that there is consequences if they don't follow those rules. You have to leave because
and we've left before, and
for
it's
sure,
hard
us
because
too.
they cry and they're upset, but they have to understand that this is a non-negotiable.
Because there's crazy people out there, and it's not like it was when we were growing up. It's totally different.
Yeah,
and what's really worked for us before is, after COVID, I told my daughter that Chuck E. Cheese went out of business.
Damn. It just don't exist no more.
No, they didn't survive. There just wasn't enough business. Chuck E. Cheese actually is not even a thing anymore. It doesn't exist.
Chucky died.
What happens when y'all drive by Chuck E.
That's what I was gonna say.
She can't read, so it's fine.
Oh no!
Oh my gosh.
Or I'm just going to tell her that was left over and nobody bought it yet. We're in a recession.
Karen is really going to build on this lie.
She's really thought about this.
Yes,
like she's planned this out.
Yes, till she's 25, and somebody's going to be like, hey, you want to go to Chuck E. Cheese with our
Your
kids?
mom lied to you.
That still exists?
My mom used to lie to us. My mom is a nurse. And she used to take the holiday shifts because you get paid more. So she would just lie to us and tell us the holiday was on a different day so she could get holiday pay.
That is so funny.
I come by it naturally.
That is so funny.
Yeah. I mean, You got to do what you got to do. I get it.
But shit, I've lied about my kids about shit all the time just so they can stop asking me.
The park is closed today.
Yes.
Yeah.
They moved the park.
They
What
moved
park?
the park.
They moved it.
It'll be back next weekend. Yeah.
I was gonna share how like it is for us with sports. So my kids do sports. Zane is in his third season of basketball. He's wrapping up his third season. And Zanaya's in cheer this season. And so our Saturdays consists of basically being in gyms all morning. And the kids they do really good. So luckily the people that we're around, they're getting to know who we are because we don't just do games. We have practice during the week that we take them to. So we see these people twice a week, but the places are packed. There's people everywhere when we go. They know that when we call their name, they have to answer and they have to hold our hand most of the time because, I mean, our hands are pretty full. I'm not even going to lie because we have a car seat and then we have water bottles, we have canes, we have cheer bags, we have basketball. So we have all their junk. So most of the time they are walking by themselves, but they know that if we call them, they get too far ahead, they need to come back, or they know not to get too far ahead because there's so many people there. And we don't know all the people there, but there's a lot of people there. And I think our hardest thing is when we're in new locations for games, finding the bathroom. So my daughter has to use the bathroom, I swear, every 5 minutes. And we were at a new gym today for Zane, and we had to go find the bathroom. And once we found it, it was okay. But like when you have to go to the bathroom with a little kid, they don't really hold it as well as
It's got to be
grown-ups.
quick. Yeah.
It has to be fast. Yeah, you
Yeah.
have to find it fast. And I'm like, I didn't want her to use the restroom in her cheer uniform because we weren't going to go home. And that's all she got. And so we found it, and that was a good thing. But then on the way back, we have to go find where Axel is because he's sitting in the bleachers and there's so many people around. So it's a whole new thing. We used to have family go with us to games last season. When Zane played basketball, they would come to practice and to the game. But we've been doing practices on our own this season, and we've been rotating. So like some days his mom will take us and then some days she won't. So we kind of have to have a routine with them or else it would be a shit show. Like
Yeah.
it would be terrible. And it gives me so much anxiety because it's just a lot. You got car seats, you got kids, you got
It
so
is.
much
that
shit.
don't know
Mhm.
about being around blind people. It's so much, but I think that we do it because we want them to have a normal childhood. And I was saying today, I was like,
Yeah.
man, I'm so tired, man. I've been running
It's
all day."
tiring. Okay, you heard it here first. Being blind is fucking exhausting.
It
Like,
is.
I was talking about it today. Like,
Mhm.
my daughter had like a play today, and it was just we've been running for 2 days straight, and I am, oh my God, I'm so tired. And like, I think these things would be tiring regardless, right?
Right.
But like being blind just makes everything so much harder because I've had to wait for Ubers. I've
Yep.
had to carry around car seats. I've
Yep.
had to worry about keeping up with everybody without like the privilege that
Mhm.
sighted parents have of just glancing.
Oh, the
Right.
glance. I wish I had the glance.
Yeah.
Do not take that
Yeah.
for granted. The
Do not
glance.
take the glance for granted.
Please don't.
Yeah.
I wish I could just glance over. Oh, they're okay.
Yes.
I was having some of these thoughts today just with, being busy too and doing all these things all around town. And I was just like, again, one of those, when it's like, I wish I could just drive because this
too.
would be so much easier. Yesterday, my son had his surgery and like thankfully it all went well, and we have family here. My mom and my sister are here, and it's been so easy to just have them have the car to take us wherever, and like to the hospital, from the hospital, and dealing with him and not being super awake yet and like all out of it. I'm like, I just trying to do all that with an Uber. I'm just like,
It's a lot.
it's a lot. Yeah.
I have a question because I know like 3 of us have significant others that are also blind. Is it sometimes, okay, I feel terrible saying this. I'm sorry, baby. But like sometimes I feel like it's harder when it's
All of us
blind. Yeah.
Mhm.
Than it is when I'm by myself with them, because not only do I have to keep up with the kids, but I got to keep up with where he is to make sure we don't lose each other.
Yeah, and it's not that they can't travel on their own.
It
It's just that
isn't.
you're kind of doing the Marco Polo thing.
It's
yeah,
trying to
you're-
stay together.
Yeah, and we get
So it's not
frustrated.
just me. It's not just me,
No.
right? Okay, don't divorce me. So yeah,
You
It's
like
not just
you
me.
get frustrated, and it's
frustrating.
like together. You both are frustrated, and then you start snapping at each other,
yes.
and then it's like,
Oh my
okay, we
God,
need to
I'm so
calm
glad
down.
it's
No, it's not just you.
us.
Because I swear today I almost lost it this morning. 'Cause I was so irritated with the Uber driver, and then I was irritated with Axel because I had to make sure I kept saying I'm over here, and then he
Yes.
was irritated
And
with
then
me.
y'all don't hear each other.
And
And then
yeah.
he's irritated because he's been calling me and I didn't hear him. He's, well, you ain't answer me.
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
I didn't hear you. And,
It's-
oh my God. And don't talk to me like that. It
I
just-
know. Me
Why are you
too.
giving me attitude?
Yes.
Right? I'm like, you don't have to say it like that. Like,
Yes. And it's just like controlling your emotions, controlling everyone's emotions, trying to keep up with everything and everybody. And
Mhm.
it's a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's super
I'm tired talking
overwhelming.
about it.
I know.
Yeah.
It's super
right?
overwhelming.
next topic.
For
No, I'm just
sure.
kidding.
Taryn is like, y'all should have chosen a sided one.
I know.
That's its whole other struggle, I guess.
It's a whole other episode. No,
Yes.
just kidding.
Well, now that we've talked about how we navigate inside, what about outdoor places like the park? The park is the bane of my existence. I hate going
The park
the
doesn't
park.
exist.
Well, because it's like if you have older children, yes, you can like allow them to play and what have you and listen out for them. But if you have like toddlers, you have to follow them through the little jungle gym things, up through the
Yeah.
castle. You have to get your big ass up there too.
Yeah.
And it's not always made for adults.
Yeah.
It's not an easy
But
thing.
really though,
Like, I guess
Definitely
we're
not.
all going down the slide.
Right.
I don't
and not
know.
just that, you gotta like go around other people's kids, and then don't let other like parents be around. They try to get their kids away from
Mhm.
you, and you just feel big as fuck trying to get into these little tiny ass spaces. And
Trying to not seem like the creepy ass parent that's
Yes.
like right behind
have
your
y'all
kid.
ever grabbed the wrong kid?
Not
I've
yet.
grabbed a kid before and the mom cussed me out. My daughter was at the top of
No.
the slide and her kid was climbing up the slide. You know how kids like to climb up the slide. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, honey, she's going to come down. And he was little, like probably not even 2, like barely toddling around. And I was like, watch out. And my daughter, she is the one with autism. She'll just knock him over.
She's like,
And
oh,
so-
get out of my way.
Move,
I was worried. So I just picked him up and I moved him off the slide. And his mom came up and started screaming at me about like, how dare I touch her child and that my kid should have just waited and he's trying to explore and I didn't have any right to put my hands on him. I didn't want to have to pay for his tooth that my kid would knock out with her foot. And she was not going to wait. So I just moved him out of the way. Heaven forbid I do
Well,
that.
she should have been
because
looking out for him. Like,
Oh no, she
hello.
was on the bench on her phone. I
You see
guarantee.
this child trying to
course.
come down the slide. You can glance over, lady. We don't have that privilege.
Glance. There's the glance.
There's the glance again. But the thing is, you got the glance and you're not even using it.
Right?
because
Use your tools.
Why are you gonna just let your kid climb up the slide when you know kids are coming down it? He's gonna get
Right.
hurt.
He shouldn't have been here in the first fucking place.
Right.
He's in the wrong.
Yeah.
Poor kid.
Yeah,
Is it-
I mean, that
is it
happened
wrong?
so much today. We were at Chuck E. Cheese and there was a
You
little.
were where?
Yeah, there. That place.
That place is not a business.
She was
I
at
told you.
Chuck's house. That's what she had to say.
Chuck's house. He was hanging out with the mice.
Yeah. And there were kids, like, you know, parents were just sitting, like, drinking beer, eating pizza, right? Doing their thing, while little 2-year-olds were running by themselves all over the place. I'm like,
Mhm.
I don't feel comfortable with that. Like, what if somebody grabs my kid or, like, you literally, like, take your eyes off them for a second to look at your phone or whatever, and then they're gone? Like, I can't.
That's why I think, if anything, like our children are more safe because we are so vigilant
Oh, yeah.
about
Because
keeping
we're
track
right
of them.
there. Yeah.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
might get on their nerves, the kids' nerves so much that I'm like calling their name over and over and over. But I don't care. Like, let me get on your nerves. I'm trying to save you. From that crazy man over there.
Yeah, my kid, I struggle with it too because my kid is so friendly. Like, he will say hi to everyone.
So
and
is
I'm
mine.
just like, dude, I'm like, you gotta stop because we don't talk to strangers. And he's like, why? You know, everything is why? Why?
Oh,
And I'm
he's in
like,
that stage.
because, yeah, he's at that
Look,
stage. And I'm
I'll
just like,
get on the phone with him. His auntie Taryn will tell him about kidnapping and how you'll never ever see your mom ever again. No, I'm just kidding.
Should tell him you can't go Turkey cheese anymore either.
Chucky died.
seriously. Because it's gone.
He got
Gone.
trapped in the
Doesn't
trap.
exist.
In the mouse trap.
We have
That's
one
fucked
right
up.
here by the house too, so yeah, that would be a big struggle. Oh my god.
So my kids this spring break got bikes from their aunt, and Zane learned how to ride without training wheels, and Zanaya still has training wheels. And I don't really get this part, but she falls more than he does. But that's a whole nother episode. But I had never Zane had a bike before, but they had training wheels on them, and we never honestly went out with him to ride his bike. And so they're older now, they're 5 and 6, and they want to ride their bikes. And he actually gets like pissed off when he can't go ride his bike. So this means we have to be outside with them, obviously, to ride their bikes. And as a blind person, we like we said before, we don't have the glance. So what me and Axel came up with was like a check-in or a checkpoint. So either one of us will stand at the driveway by our house or our driveway, and then the other person will go stand at the corner all the way down the street. Because Zane likes to go, we live on we have a corner house, and so he likes to go around the corner, past his best friend's house, and like loop-de-loop around and back. And so one of us will go stand at that corner right at his friend's house, so that we're kind of like at the end where he's turning around, and then he can go back to where the other parent is. And then if there's a car coming, we'll all yell car like really loud. And that way the kids know, okay, I need to get my ass out of the way because there's a car coming. And I feel like that's the safest way for us to watch them.
That's brilliant.
That's a really good idea.
It's brilliant.
Because no one
you're
can
sandwiching
take
them in.
Yeah. Yep. And they can't get hit by a car. Hopefully the car, like the driver's paying attention. And then they're safe, and we can help them if they fall, because they do fall sometimes. Well, it's not more than safe, but like we can help them. We're right there. And so like we have had people stop and say, I love seeing this. Like I love seeing them out riding their bikes. And they're probably like, oh, I love seeing these blind parents with their kids out riding their bikes, because they don't.
I really think
that.
it's because other parents aren't outside with their children when their kids are playing.
Yeah,
or
you always
riding their
see the
bikes.
kids by themselves out
They're
there.
by themselves.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And your kids are going to remember that they did that with their parents for the rest of their life. They're always going to remember that. When their kids are learning how to ride bikes, they're going to say, oh, I just remember when my mom and dad would help us ride our bikes, and we would yell when a car was coming out. It was a really fun game. They're always going to remember that.
And when it's just me, or if it's just Axel, we'll just walk back and forth. So obviously they're going to be faster than us because they're on wheels and they're pedaling, but we'll just follow them. And then they may go back and loop around before we get to the end, but we'll just meet them in the middle and just go back, and we'll just follow them just to make sure that they're safe, because I don't want to take any chances with anything like that, because there's cars, there's weirdos, and I don't know what I would do if anything were to happen because they were riding their bikes, because that's supposed to be something fun. And so we make sure that they get out there and they ride at least once or twice a week. It's been getting hot out here, so I don't know how much we're gonna do in the summer, but we actually have a tandem, and Zane has been begging us to let him drive it, and we're like, oh no. Axel told him he didn't trust
They
them.
need to be a
No, I
little
don't trust them.
older. Yeah.
So yeah.
Tandems are hard, especially if he's in the front, because he has
And
to
they're
deal with the weight in the
heavy.
back. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't even get on the tandem. It's too, I'm too short to even get on. I have to jump on or get help. So
Oh my gosh.
Oh
He's
no,
not
definitely
ready.
not.
Struggle
Yeah,
is
he's
real.
not ready.
I know what that's like. Yeah.
So
So-
my daughter, she our youngest is the one that uses a wheelchair sometimes. She actually has an adaptive bicycle where it's got like a 5-point harness and straps and then supports that keep her held up. And she can either pedal or it's got a handle that you can push it to, and then she
Cool.
can steer. So
Mhm.
I'll push it and she can just steer. And I love it so much. And also, BDBU PSA, make sure your kids wear a helmet.
Please.
Yes.
Regardless on how good they are on skates or
Yeah.
dirt bikes or bicycles or what have you, always have them wear a helmet.
Yeah, my kids are strapped up. They got helmets. Zane has palm pads. He has elbow pads. They have knee pads, elbow pads. They have all the stuff. And the other day, he was like, "Mom, I really want to ride my bike." So it was just me and him out there. And they like to go up and down the driveway. Our driveways had like a little hill. And so he he goes up the driveway and he like falls. This is not funny. He falls. And then he's like, "Mom, ow." I'm like, "What's wrong?" He's like, "I hurt myself." I'm like, "What's the matter?" He's, "I need help. My bike is on me."
Oh,
And so
Oh, no.
I go and I get the bike off of him and he's like, "I don't have my helmet on." I was like, "Oh no, you're going in the house. Goodbye."
Mm-mm.
Like,
Oh
you know
my
not to ride without
gosh.
your helmet. So that
Good
was
for
his lesson
you.
for the day.
You know, my husband and I were members of the Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association. There are actually motorcycle riders who don't wear helmets.
that's
That is
insane.
It blows
nuts.
my mind. It's not a law here in Colorado.
Oh
And
my
it's
gosh.
just
That's crazy.
insane. Like, how fucking stupid are you? My husband dropped his bike at one point, and thank goodness he wore a helmet because it scuffed his helmet up really bad,
That's
like broke his helmet.
crazy.
And he keeps it always just to remind him that, you know, make sure you always wear your gear, make sure you're always like on alert because anything could happen
Yeah.
at any
anything.
moment.
Yeah.
Helmets are important.
They are.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh,
And
that's
it's so
terrifying.
cute because Anaya has a frozen bike and like she has the frozen elbow and knee pads and the helmet. And Zane has,
Aww.
I don't know what he has. I don't know. He doesn't have a character, but he has a big kid bike. And it's like, I just never thought I would be that parent. I didn't think about it. Like, you don't think about, oh yeah, I'm going to get my kids' bikes and then
Yeah.
they'll ride and blah, blah, blah. But I want us to get to that point where we can all just go for like a family bike ride one day.
So, Taryn,
So-
tell us about the good days when they're actually old enough to where you don't
Right.
have to like worry about
Be
them
right
as
next to
much.
them, yeah.
Please tell us what we have to look forward to.
So, okay, here you go.
Yes.
Picture this.
Make us feel better.
You want to go thrift shopping.
Yes.
You want to go check out some clothes, some vintage clothes, maybe some dishes, some decor. You're really excited about it. You have your almost 14-year-old. You call yourself an Uber. You don't have to have a car seat. You don't have to worry about sneaky snacks. You don't have to worry about diapers or wipes. You just get in the Uber. You go to your destination. You get out, and your kid already knows where the door is because she can see. And you just walk right in.
It's like you're seeing eye human.
My
Oh,
seeing eye human.
Jealous. Ugh.
You don't have to worry about them at all. They know your style. They're like, "Oh, mom, you're going to like this." And they tell you all about it. And all you have to do is like get them a couple of little special things. And you've had mother-daughter time. You've been out and
Aw.
about with just them. It's really nice.
I can't wait.
I'm
Um,
excited.
Mhm.
It-
Same
it's
me
gonna
and
be
Anaya.
I have some of those moments with Ari already, and she's 7. But my issue with her is that she doesn't pay attention like I would want her to. So like we're at the point now where like I hold on to her shoulder while I use my cane just to kind of keep up with her and
Mhm.
because so she can help me navigate sometimes. And she does not pay attention for shit. Like we went shopping
Is she
today.
bumping you into stuff?
Well, not even just that, but like I'll be like, okay, Ari, let's go pay. Girl, why does this girl want to walk out the damn store? Like, no, we're trying to go to
That's
the
for
counter.
free.
God damn it. Like,
We got the 5-finger discount.
yes. You know, she's just
Starting early. No.
she just doesn't pay attention. And I mean, at that age, I can't expect her to. You know what I mean? But it's just like, we're going to get there. We're going to get there. But in the meantime, I'm going to look dumb a couple times.
Yes.
Like Zanaya, when we go places, she has the booster seat now. Hers is bigger than Zane. So if Zane's staying home and it's just girl time, we'll take his because it doesn't have a back to it. But my thing with her, like she pays attention. She's excited to go places. She just wants to buy everything. And I'm like, I'm not even here for you. Go away.
That doesn't stop. It actually gets worse.
Yeah, it doesn't
that
stop.
gets worse.
You better get a job.
Yeah.
I told them that when they turn 10.
Get a job at 5. No.
Yeah. No, that doesn't stop, especially with girls.
Yeah, I joke with my 3-year-old because he's like, can we buy this or can we get this? And I'm like, where's your wallet? He's like, I don't have one. I'm like, yeah, me either.
So I think this is kind of controversial, but so there's places that I absolutely will not go without sighted assistance. And I think it's important for like as blind people, I think we all support empowering blind people and for us to be as independent as possible. But at the same time, I think we also need to know our limitations and also like consider all the ways that things can go wrong. What are those places for y'all that y'all are just like, I will not even tackle that. I will not even try to tackle that as a blind parent without any sighted assistance?
I'll tell you, it was a cruise for us.
Ooh, yeah, that's a big one.
We went on a Disney cruise back in October. It was a blast if anybody ever has the opportunity to do that. But what was very difficult is on the decks during the day, there were pools. And I worry about my youngest around the pools. But then at night, they cover the pools and then you can walk everywhere. So it was very hard for me to really get a mental image and figure out where everything was because
those landmarks are gone
all the time. Exactly. Mm-hmm. So that was really difficult for me. And I had a hard time, especially because every floor of the ship, everything was a little bit different. So I really had to humble myself and understand that I needed some sighted assistance with that. And it was so loud. And then just the added factor that there was water, I did not feel comfortable, especially with my youngest, taking her to the pool areas without some kind of sighted assistance. And you can think whatever you want about that.
Judge your mama.
But safety was judge your mom. But that was it for me. What about y'all?
I think for me it would be like Six Flags or any kind of
amusement parks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely not. I will not tackle it. I don't think it'll be fun for anybody because trying to figure out where to go, it's just too big of a place, too spread out, too many noises. It's just too much. I can't.
Well, even finding a line, like you said, like where's the start of the line? Where do I need to go? Like they're all zigzaggy. Like you don't know what's happening, or is this the entrance, the exit? Like
you don't even know what ride you're at. Like
no,
and then the maps aren't accessible, and you have to have like a whole plan for the day. You pay for the day. You have to have a plan on where everywhere you're going to go, which rides you're going to go to, what things you're going to do. And every minute that you're just trying to orient yourself is wasted time, essentially.
Zane had a field trip to the zoo with his class. I want to say last November. Yeah, he was in kindergarten. And Axel was planning on going. And so the teacher sent something home like, all right, if you guys are coming to be chaperones, plan to have 4 kids. And I saw that and I was like, Axel, I don't know how this is gonna work. Like you and 4 kids, I don't know about that. They'll probably run away. And so it's crazy because he's thinking that he would just like pair with another parent. They got to the zoo and was like, here you go. They gave him Zane and that was it. And they went and explored the zoo on their own. And I don't know how he did it and how he felt comfortable, but Zane, I don't know. Zane, they walked around. Zane told them what animals were there. And then they got them something to eat. They ate lunch. And then they met back up with his class. And I don't know how.
Oh, good for him.
Axel did that.
That's
I
amazing.
love that for him because could never be me.
Never.
That could never be me. I would be freaking out.
We need him on the podcast to let us know how he
that
did
would
it.
be cool. Because I'm like, how? And then I don't know. It's just crazy. I don't know how he did that because I was really surprised that they just like gave him to the wolves, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a field trip experience when Delaney was in kinder, and her teacher, because we were in the same area that I went to school at, her kinder teacher used to actually be my swim
wow.
coach. I did swim all through high school, and she was my swim coach. So she knew me pretty well, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to be at the field trip. So they paired me up with another parent at the museum, but then we just took double the amount of children.
Yeah.
And that worked really well for us because fuck a museum, like I said before.
For real.
Oh my God. We did a museum a couple of months ago with Zanaya, and luckily her best friend's mom came, and we're friends. And so we're thinking we're just going to have Zanaya and her friend. They're like, nope, take this one too. I'm like, God damn. So we all just ran, and I hate that museum. It was so crowded. But like we just went along, and Zanaya's teacher is Zane's teacher from last year. And I did both field trips with her last year with Zane. And one trip they let us take Zanaya, and they were just like, all right, take Zane, you'll have Zanaya, bye. And we were at like a little theme park. We were at Morgan's Wonderland, which is like a
the accessible theme park.
And so it was just all the pre-K kids. And it was really cool because it was a big place, but it was gated and it's accessible. So it wasn't a zoo, but it's cool that you have teachers like that understand and know like what your limits are and what your limits aren't. And then they trust you, you know, because some teachers would have been like, oh, hell no, like you can't go.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I admire y'all for even volunteering to go as chaperones for your kids' field trips because I haven't gotten there yet in my parenting journey, and I don't know if I ever will. Like, to be honest with y'all, I just get really awkward and nervous around like school staff, and just like I always feel like they just don't have any faith in me, and I don't know. I'm also at that point in my life where I don't feel like I want to prove anything to anybody.
I understand that.
So I don't want to go out of my way, or I don't want to go above and beyond so somebody can change their fucking opinion about it. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you. I think it's, you know, as a new like blind parent, it's so hard to put yourself
out there.
Yeah, like put yourself out there. And I think for me, I feel like super anxious as it is as a blind traveler, and like going from being a guide dog user to not has also been kind of like a reality check on my skills. And so like being out there and trying to figure stuff out for myself, and then like trying to figure out things with the kids too, and then trying to show that, you know, the school staff or whoever that I can manage all of it. I'm just like, oh, it just sounds like
awful.
Too much, too overwhelming.
It does.
Like not even enjoyable. Like I would have to like mentally prepare myself like weeks in advance to do something like that.
I admire y'all for that. Like I think that's dope that you guys are actually out here doing that shit and showing everybody that y'all can. It just can't be me.
I don't care what they think I can do, honestly. I do it like for the kids so they know, they remember that stuff, you know? So like the first time I did it with Zane last year, we went to a high school here, and it has like all these different programs. We went to go to their agriculture program, and they had pigs and cows and stinky animals. Aww. And so sorry.
Hey,
my bad.
Sarah's like, I got all those in my
beautiful
backyard.
Animals.
When you come to my house, you're gonna muck out the chicken coop.
I have the video to prove it. That's what she said.
Oh yeah, I sent them a video the other day of a goat that just wandered into our yard.
That was cute.
We were trying to keep it.
What happened to the goat?
Our neighbors across the street knew who they belonged to, so like 3 of our neighbors came and got the goat and brought it home.
But like when I went on the field trip, the first thing that I did was so embarrassing. Like I was using my cane, but I guess I overswiped, and I like body checked the pole, you know, and when the kids,
of course that would happen when
the kids like, are you okay?
See, that's the shit. I would die. Like I would just melt on the spot.
But the thing that I loved is that when Zane got off that bus, he ran straight to me and was like super happy to see me, and he didn't want to leave my side.
That's what matters, right?
Yes.
That's what matters.
Yeah, and he like held my hand that whole trip, and I don't know if he did it because he wanted to, or if he was like, I don't want my mom to get lost, but that's what I enjoy, like them being happy and seeing when they get off of the bus. And then normally, like, I have a friend there, like, because, you meet friends when your kids meet friends. And so our backdoor neighbor is Zane's best friend, and his mom came. And that's how we became really close. And I found out that her daughter, she deals with blindness. Like, she has retinoblastoma.
Yeah.
And that's how we became really close. And then Zanaya's best friend's mom, she has a son who has autism, I think. So, like, but we became like really close because of that. And so it's worth it. If you can try
You know what,
it.
Karina? I was gonna say, Karina, that can be our parenting goal, to put ourselves out there, like at school field trips or whatever, and
just do it one time.
We're gonna have to talk each other up.
We are.
We are. How many times I'm
gonna come home and cry to y'all about it.
We're here.
Because I get emotionally exhausted. Like, I don't know. But I really admire y'all for doing that. And I agree. Like, sometimes you just got to put yourself out there and do it. Like, I remember we had a block party one time, and I was so nervous the whole week coming up, like the whole week leading up to the block party. And I was like, I'm going to keep up with Ari. It's going to be crowded. But I really wanted to go. And so I went. And it turned out to be beautiful. I made mom friends that I'm still friends with to this day. And so I think like half of the battle, it is putting yourself out there. And maybe it is the hardest. And maybe it will be embarrassing at some points, but I'm sure beautiful things will come out of it. But it's just sometimes psyching yourself up to do it is the hardest part.
Yeah, I 1000% agree. I think something that has definitely changed for me since having my little social butterfly 3-year-old is like he has made me more social and like actually helped me put myself out there, because he does talk to everybody, and like he starts conversations with people about I don't even know what, but and I'm just like, yeah, like I'm over here like turning tomato red, because I'm just like, oh my God, he will talk to anybody. And like he's always been that way since he was a baby. Like he will smile and wave and just talk to everyone and anyone. And I'm just like, that's so not me. And or Martin, like we keep to ourselves, but this kid has like really made us like come out of our element and like try to make friends, like with setting up play dates. Like he talks to all the kids, so he's made a ton of friends already, and they're like, well, they want to play outside of school, and I'm just like, oh, that means that I actually have to reach out and like set something up.
I gotta be friends too.
Yeah. That means I gotta talk to other adults for real.
Yeah. How do y'all deal with play dates? Like as far as like being in a group with other moms?
Honestly, I feel like for me, the most awkward part is that with my oldest, I was always the youngest mom. So not only was I blind, but they also were like, oh my gosh, look at this teen mom here. And I just felt like those things combined, nobody ever really took me seriously.
Yeah,
I could see that for sure.
It's a lot better now that she is a teenager, but it was hard at first. But I don't know, Keisha, you go on tons of play dates.
And it's draining. Oh, y'all. And so Axel's like, you always say you want friends, and then you always cancel. And I'm like, because I just don't have it emotionally in me to be
it's hard.
Sociable.
Again, it's like you have to mentally prepare yourself for that play day and like, or just to put yourself out there if you're already having a shitty day.
Yeah.
You have to like still go on that play date. Like we've been there too, where we have something scheduled, like a week or two in advance, and then something's going down or somebody was sick a couple days before. You know what I mean? And you're just like, God, I'm not in the mood to do this, but like I feel bad canceling because
I feel like I have to overcompensate sometimes. Like I feel like like I've gone on play dates before, and I'll be like, oh, and we should do like a little picnic, and I'm the mom that ends up bringing all the shit to the picnic because I want I don't know if it's me like wanting to people please, or if it's me wanting to seem like I have my shit together. but I end up doing the most.
All of the
Yeah.
above, right? I
Maybe,
think.
yeah.
So I went on
Yeah.
a.
I think
It was spring break, and we went to Morgan's Wonderland with Zanaya's best friend and her mom and her brother, and it was me, Zane, and Zanaya. And we went and we were having fun. And then another friend from Zanaya's class comes, which is great. Like we always do things together. But I didn't know she was coming. I think I told you guys about this. I didn't know she was coming.
Yes, I remember.
And things changed. Like before she came, the best friend's mom, oh, she's my friend. I'll say my friend. She we were talking and you know what people do when they're on play dates. And then the other mom comes and she's closer with my friend. And so then I don't know, I'm sure it wasn't done intentionally.
It
The
changed the
dynamics
dynamic.
changed completely. And so then it got to the point where
Yeah.
my friend noticed that I was quiet and she'll like step to the side and she like started elbowing me. And she's like, you okay? Like, what's up? You know, trying to like bring me in.
Oh, that's the word.
And I felt so shitty and I wanted to go home because I was like, man, I felt like I was in high school again.
It does. It does feel that way.
And I know she didn't mean to, but it's like,
It's that third wheel dynamic.
and it's only because I'm blind. Because
Yes.
it wouldn't be that way if
That's why I'm scared of joining like the PTA and shit like that.
God,
Because
don't
I
get me
feel like
started.
it is like high school all over again. And I just, I don't want to deal with that shit. Like, I don't know.
Okay, so I have to play devil's advocate. And I feel like because you were saying that they know each other really well, do you think part of it is even if you were sighted, you would still kind of have been the third wheel if you didn't know them as well?
Mhm.
Well, this is the thing. We all met each other at the same time. We both were at that same party at Chuck E. Cheese.
that place keeps coming up.
The place that doesn't exist.
Wow. This is very triggering.
It's the root of all evil.
Y'all are all gaslighting me right now.
So we knew each other. We've all met each other because they're all in the same class this year for the first time. They're all in pre-K. And so I think that the other mom, though, like she invites them to like bring a friend to dance class and stuff like that. So like she invites her to stuff. And my friend, she invites us out for stuff too. Like we go over her house. We have play dates or whatever. But I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Do y'all think that sometimes we're paranoid that shit happens to us because we're
Yes.
blind and it's not even
Yes.
like that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why I was trying to play devil's advocate a little bit about that.
It definitely
But you know
happens,
what?
I'm sure.
We're also traumatized. We're just like, oh, it's because I'm blind.
It's our trauma, yes. For sure.
Yeah, it's like, why is the sky gray today? Because I'm blind.
Yeah.
No, it has nothing to
Can't
do
see
with
it, bitch. It's gray.
No, I agree with y'all. I do think that's probably the first thing that comes to my mind is because I'm blind. But I really feel like people are uncomfortable sometimes, especially in like social situations. They don't know what to talk about because they probably feel like you don't experience the same thing that they experience.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're sighted and you're listening, a mom is a mom. It doesn't matter if she can see, if she can't see. The only thing that's different between a blind mom and a sighted mom is we just have to modify things and do things a little differently. But we go through the same thing that you go through. I feel like I did this on a TikTok like a month ago. We do the same thing. Like we go through the same mom woes that you go through. It may be like more stressful for us because we have to figure out how to do things. But I think that whatever mom issue that you may have, I'm sure we've had it. And and we've had to deal with it. So, I don't know.
Amen, girl. Does anybody else have anything to share?
I just want to ask just real quick, like on those days when you have been out with your kids and it has just been like the logistics of it have just worn you down and like you come home and you just feel like, oh,
I'm done.
Yes, like you just feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. How do y'all decompress? How do y'all, because me, I sleep. Like I just reset, just end this shit. Just
I cry.
give me another
take a
day.
shower.
Podcast.
Yes,
this is decompression.
This is. I feel
Yeah.
today was one of those days for me, and I definitely do feel much better.
I just
it's
get in the
therapeutic.
shower and cry.
Mm-hmm.
That way you can't tell.
I talk to you guys, and and
Yes.
it's
That
really
too.
helpful because I feel like you all understand. Like today, before we even got on this podcast, we're all like, oh my gosh, we were all out with our children. It was all exhausting and we were all just venting to each other. And we understand all of the woes. We get it.
We get
and
it.
That's really helpful. So finding a community.
Yeah. For you parents that have those hard days, email us. We want to hear about them because we go through them all the time. And if you don't have a Taryn and a Keisha and a Karina like I do, we can be those people for you.
Yeah, I'm happy to listen.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely.
And maybe learn a thing or two from, however you guys deal with things, because we don't know it all.
No.
Even though sometimes we want to pretend like we do. No.
Absolutely. And we've been getting so much amazing feedback from all of you. And we just want to say from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much. We know that everyone else has very, very busy lives. And we just feel so blessed and so honored that you choose to take your time and listen to us. And we just want to thank you so very much. And if you do email us and reach out to us, if you feel comfortable with us sharing your feedback or your questions or concerns or what have you on the podcast, please just let us know in the email and we will definitely read it here or on our social media. And we're just so thankful for all of you. And we are so blessed to have such amazing listeners. And we're so glad that we get to be a little bit of a part of your day. So thank you.
Sure.
Just do not criticize Taryn. She doesn't like criticism.
No, I don't take it well.
And judge your mama.
Right.
And judge your
Hashtag. That needs to be a hashtag. Yes.
On that note, thank y'all so much. And we can't wait to talk to y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye.